Hey guys, thank you for stopping by the video. This one I wanted to talk about a couple of things. We have Grandmasters right around the corner, and I wanted to just throw out what I've learned over the past couple of weeks. I've been doing a lot of 1340s, both between Lost Sectors and Nightfalls in preparation for the Grandmasters, and yeah, so the biggest thing is champions, trying to get to the boss. That's the biggest thing. Boss melts are pretty easy, pretty simple. They're a little different when there's champions involved around that, but what I wanted to do was basically throw out some tips some people may not know about certain champions. Pretty much Unstoppable is very simple. Basically stun it, bring down its resilience, and try to DPS as much as possible with DOTs, especially with debuffs. Debuffs are huge right now, especially in the season. And then you have barriers. The biggest problem, I believe, is probably the servitors, because it does protect the enemies around it, and the best way to handle that is keep your distance, force it to bring up its shield, and then stun it. Once it's stunned, stop DPSing the servitor unless you can DPS it immediately to the point where the snipers don't even have a chance to get to you if there is snipers. If not, then I would take out the surrounding adds before taking out that servitor barrier. The Colossus is a little bit of a pain because, you know, you have to keep cover, so you got to rely on your fire team. Other than those, I wanted to talk about mainly was the Overload. Overload champions can be a real pain. They teleport, they rush, and they rush pretty fast. So what happens after the initial stun, especially on 1340s or above that, and especially going to be in the GMs, is going to be that regeneration. That regeneration of health is just insane. You have such a short amount of time after the initial stun to put in as much DPS as possible, because even as it's stunned, it will regain health. So that being said, what I like to do is, you know, do a nice rotation. I would stun. After the initial stun, I throw out maybe like a grenade or a grenade launcher like Anarchy to cause a damage over time, a DOT rather, and apply a debuff. You know, grenade launchers are doing debuffs now. You can rely on your fire team to help you out with that. And then what I would do is rotate back to your overload weapon. You want to maintain that overload damage, because when you continue to hit the overload with an overload weapon, you're actually suppressing its abilities. When you suppress its abilities, it stays still. It doesn't if you're from a distance. If you're close up, it will still rush you, but you'll maintain that, and it'll cause the health regeneration to stop, and they're least likely to move from their spot if you are from a distance, and they won't teleport as much. Other than that, my next tip would be Stasis. Stasis is very strong this season, or just in general, for ad clear and keeping enemies still. The only problem with that, and this goes for all champions, every time you freeze a champion, anything you've done to it in terms of stun, DPS, or anything like that, it's at a standstill and it restarts. So say, for example, an Overload again, you throw a dust field grenade on them and they are frozen. That's after the initial stun and or during the initial stun. If you have to maintain using your overload weapon, because they will start regaining health as soon as they're frozen. It has nothing to do with them being stunned or anything like that. As soon as they're frozen, they will start to regain health, because after that initial stun, they are no longer stunned if they're frozen. Same goes for barriers, and same goes for unstoppables. Unstoppables are a pain because as soon as you freeze it, the resilience goes right back up to where it was before. And barriers will sit there and try to throw their shield up. If they're not getting frozen fast enough, their shielder is going to go right back up, and they're going to regain health again. Alright, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. Nice, short and sweet. There is a ton more details. I love talking about this stuff. If you ever want to have a hands-on discussion about that, I stream on Twitch pretty often. I don't really have a schedule just yet. We're working on that. But by all means, please stop by, ask me questions there. I do have a Discord. We have a nice friendly group that we all like to play and chill at the same time. It's always a good time. And yeah, if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Let me know if you want to know more about this stuff. I'll absolutely continue making more content like this. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.